Okay, my outstanding friends, today is going to be a day of recapitulation. I'm going to go back to when I first started because I just discovered all my original stuff is gone. I don't know what happened. Many of you guys could go back with me probably 10 years. Now, I'm going to start out by talking to you about the Russians who I interacted with about that long ago, about their sinkholes. This is going to be about sinkholes. And we're going to go into a regular discussion of how they happen and what they're made of and what they look like in the ground and what the different layers are. And, and I can explain all of this pretty much because I do understand the biology of the Earth. So why am I showing you these two lungs? That's a DNA test, CAT scan, the whole 9 yards. No question, it's a human lung. This, I don't know what it's from, but it's another lung. And here's all the cavities. This one here filled in with silicates. All right, this one here is all feldspar. Feldspar is this kind of stuff. It coats the lung. It's made out of membranes, collagens primarily. Well, 99% collagen. Now, I don't know if it's that high, but it's up there. This is the alveoli, all these little holes. Same as this. Any doctor knows that. It's all full of this red blood inside, and the blood came out of here, they said, was excellent quality. And I'm not going to refer to anybody anymore because I did see a post about some, they get harassed trying to work with people like me because I'm exposing things nobody's ever heard about before or wants to know about. This was when I interacted with the Russians. Let me explain this whole deal because it has a big backstory. Hold on. All right, I'm going to try to brief it up a little bit for you, but here's exactly what happened. I was posting all about these sinkholes that were happening up in Alaska and all over the place, because when they drain fluids out of the ground, you create these huge cavities. These huge cavities fill up with methane gases, and then something happens, a lightning strike or something, pow, that's an explosion. It's like somebody took a bomb, put it down there. So I'm posting all about this stuff. So then I get an email from a Japanese researcher who had done a NOVA series on sinkholes. And he said, I saw your thing about sinkholes, and I think you're right. And I said, wow, that's nice. And he said, what I want you to do is contact the Russians. They contacted him. Okay, so this was exactly when this happened. This was a mysterious sinkhole opens up in some Yameni peninsula, something like that. So I said, well, have the guy get a hold of me. So they did, and I talked to him about this, and they said, well, what can we do? And I said, there's nothing you can do. I said, you're going to what are you going to do? I said, right now you have these huge cavities in here. As it gets warmer and warmer, you're going to sink. There's nothing you can do. I don't think he was happy with the answer, but now you see all these little things running down in here. You think that's an accident? They're all so perfect. And you see these layers coming around here, and then this particular layer down here. I know exactly what this stuff is because I've been researching this deeply. And if they don't come to the understanding, well, I don't know. It's a little late in the game, my friends, because here's what happened. Well, let me back up here a little bit, and there's a lot to discuss here. I got to be honest with you. I was trying to remember, what did I actually say to the Russians? He was the nicest, most polite guy I ever talked to, really. He listened attentively. I told him what I thought, and he probably thought I was crazy. Because I'm pretty outspoken. I probably said, well, the thing died out there, and, now it's exploding from the gases, But I don't know. But there was nothing you could do, so what's the difference? It just struck me. Yes. But look at this now. Here's what happens. This is striated muscle. This is muscle. They pinch together like this, these bands. And that pulls you in and out. But they need a hell of a lot of red blood. That's where the oxygen is. Ferrous oxides, iron oxides, oxygen. It comes down here and it puddles. And then when you start doing all this, and then it goes out through the black spots, which is the vein pickup. They pick it up after it's all been used. Now, here's what happened in Turkey. The same thing. This is all muscle. That's all same muscle. The whole thing collapsed because there was layers of that red stuff that washed down the hill. You see it? And here's the black parts. There's the red parts. Look, there's red blood coming out of the side. This is all those muscle fibers. It's running down this way, and that red blood ran out from those striated muscles. Now, you could think I'm crazy. That's fine. I don't really care. This is what's inside of muscles. That's exactly what you just saw, only on a little bit bigger scale, somewhat larger. Now, so why does this happen? And what the hell is this? And why do we have all these little venular looking things? And what's the different colors and layers? What's that all about? Well, that's because of 10 million billion years of this and that and flip. No, it's not. This is tissues from a biological creature. So once again, I am outspoken, but that's just the way I am. All right, so here's some more from Russia. Now, this is the Batagayka crater, and here it is up close, and this is the layers of the interstitial balls, which I showed you, or will. I don't know if I did or not, but you're damn sure going to see them. And this is the erosion, and that's the layer just below these balls that pull and stretch. And hold on, let me get that picture. Oh, here it is right here. You see it? This is it. This is what they call interstitial. This just came out in 2018. They said, well, we just figured out this layer existed. Anytime they were doing autopsies, it would be all flattened out. All the fluids were gone. This is supposed to be saturated with fluids. These balls hold these little flappy straps, and they can pull and twist. These are cheap. The balls are not. They are tough. And this is just water and fluids and bacteria and stuff like that living in there. Now, this is what it looks like when it turns into gigantic creature body parts. This is it right here. That's the white layer of what they call mucosa, skin, membrane, whatever you want to call it. Right under this right here is what I would think of as the interstitial highway, which means that can run all the way through your body, and you can get invaded up to here, but not past there. Once you get past here, you're into pretty serious tissues, and they don't like that. Now, the balls were originally in place here. They just rolled it out, and this is all mud. It just creates mud. That's all the fleshy mud coming out of here. Now, can I prove all this? Absolutely. It's just got to be looked into. So, and again, I don't know if I showed you. Well, did I show you this? This is all that interstitial, the bally layer here. And it's all strappy. My friend Tyson Carlson has a spot. He's doing a lot of work up there, doing fabulous work. There's very little recognition. And, the recognition, I don't think he cares so much about that. We just want it to be understood that we're not insane. Now, this layer is quite obviously different from this layer, and this layer, and this layer, and this layer, and this layer. There is nothing but literally hundreds and hundreds of layers of membrane in you. They never knew there were before. They never knew it. It's squished together like a little pancake, so thin you hardly even know it. Once all the water's out of there, it's just nothing. And what it's doing right now is it's running out of there. And as it does, it keeps eroding back, just like this is Hunstanton Beach. Where is it? Right here. The water's eroding. It's the same thing that's happening up there, but it's going from underneath. They're sucking everything out. And that's why I have the statistics on these sinkholes, and they're quite deep, and they're quite regularly formed, and the gases inside explode. They're very, very combustive. You see these tendon balls? I call them tendon balls. They're little anchors. And as a matter of fact, I have my belt pictures here, I think. Yeah, right here. Every one of those little black balls is one of those balls I just showed you laying on the ground. This has straps. This is my belt. It's cowhide, genuine cowhide. They roll it and tan it, and they do acid to this and that and stabilize it, and it becomes a nice strong thing. But each one of those balls has a strap. You see these straps? Watch this. Where is it? This is next to the little thinger. Now, you see this? This is all interstitial. It's all the same stuff. It's a very strong mat, but these things are not tough. These did not preserve. They're just melting out. All right, and as that happens, because they were frozen, they were there for forever, but then they just melt right out. They do not stabilize well. They are weak. They're the weak point. They're a weak point. They're down here, and they're just running out, turning into mud. There's mud running out of these things all over. If you look and see the rivers flowing out of these things, they're just, well, I don't know if you can see it or not, but they're just running all this stuff. All the mud is running out, which is the gooey stuff that's underneath that interstitial layer. All right, so here's what you got. And again, this is brand new. This is only from 2018. New organ found. Well, it's been there right along, but they just never saw it before. So what do you got? You got skin or a membrane. This could be a lung, it could be a heart, it could be anything. They all have a membrane around them, and for your body, the membrane is your skin. Below that, you hit a layer which is called the interstitial highway, the superhighway. And all of these little dots down here, these little black-looking dots, they're like white blood cells. They're the immune system, basically. And they keep this highway attacking invaders. Once they break through and they get into your good tissue, you're in trouble. You see all these little dots here? Those are all tiny little balls. You want to see what they look like? Check this out. Here's what they look like. You see, this is down to one this size, and this is one is this size. So all these tiny balls are down in here, but that's what they look like when you get real close down into them. And then you got all of this fluid-filled highway going through your body. They never realized this before. And the Earth is made of this stuff. I'm sorry, that's just a fact. And they had a caption under this picture said the 150 million years in one picture. And I said, no, that's just a guy died and fell over. That's it, case closed. I don't know what it was when I was alive, but this is a tendon. All right, that little section is the tendon between a muscle or a bone or something. I'm sorry, between a bone or an anchor of some sort. And then the muscle started right out here. I have one virtually identical I can show you, and I will. And this is the center of the tendon, which is the real strong part. And these parts can move around that tendon, but that sucker should never let go. It's got like a little ball on the end, and it is tough. And it glues right into the muscle. That's why they don't come out easily. All right, I found this is what the thing that had the caption, millions of years in one picture. Remember this is the tough spot. I'm going to show you what I have in my shop. It is this, only it's smaller, substantially. Now, this is actually that ball right up in here, and that's the tendon strap. This piece right here, straight up and down here, is what was sticking up out of the ocean. This just runs away. This is just a wet muscle. This is tough, and so is the glue. Back at the bone, not so tough. And here's back at the bone. I can show you both in one pic. Here's where the bone was. So what are we actually looking at? Remember I told you that round thing? Here it is right here. That whole thing is the big major strap that holds that tendon. You can still go this way and that way. These will slide a little bit, just a tiny bit. The tendon does not hardly move. That is tough. But this is the ball, and it runs out, see it? And here it is right here. That's the ball. It breaks right here, and it breaks right here. That's called an abrupt transition. And that's the other abrupt transition. And that's that ball, and that's that white stalk. All right, there is no mystery here. All right, and then after there, you get into the bone. Bones didn't make it. Bones just didn't hold up because of the chemistry. And muscles just turn into mud. Okay, here's another one. I don't know exactly where this is, but it's just a muscle mountain. These are the different connective tissues that are inside of muscles so that the muscles can contract and do all that. You see all this red stuff running out? That's the same red stuff that was running out from in Turkey. And then so much of it ran out, the whole thing collapsed. This should be understood for what it represents to our future and to where you live. If you live on top of this, you better be careful. I'm telling you right now. And these are nothing more than those membrane layers, and this is nothing more than the fluids that would normally be stored in these cellular compartments. Is just running out, turning into mud. It's nothing but mud when it's in your body. Basically, it's much more fluidy. Whoops, but it's still mud. Blood is mud. And again, I showed you my belt. Right? Yes, that's the tendon balls. Or they didn't even know about these, I don't think, very much until recently. I got to be honest with you. My friend Tyson, what do you see? I got one of his I can show you. I think he went out and found one. I don't have it here. But he has one showing a strap. I mean, these things are huge. They're all over the earth. Some of them are the size of cars, houses. This is not small biology. That is the size of a mountaintop. These are muscle sarcomeres. And that's the vein blood, the black, and the red is the artery blood. Simple as that. And there was pockets in here that ran out, and boom. Now they say, oh, they must have been digging under there and it collapsed. Well, I don't know. Maybe they were. I have no idea. But I can tell you what, I do have an idea, and I know for certain this was saturated with blood. And this is it right here. This was running off. There's like a river running out of here. And it ran all of the blood is supposed to run. The red blood runs right out. That's where rivers and waterfalls and all that stuff come from, red blood. Now, black is different. Black usually in the earth creates seams, coal seams. The black seams are coal. And well, it's just what happens. Two different oxidation states create the black blood and the red blood. And I can show you right here. There's a red blood, there's a black blood. They usually come pretty close to each other because it's just what they do. And again, this is the top layer. And then below that is your muscles. All right, so what do I need? Well, first of all, let me just finish up with this. Don't go out thinking that every rock that you see, this is always going to be, well, this is a hard thing you're going to have to do some studying. Let's go with that. This is a lung, that's a lung, this is a lung. What's the difference? How come they're all lungs and they're all so much different? Well, there's totally reasonable reasons for that. Now, we're going to get into sinkholes, the causes, veins, arteries, feldspar, membranes, bacteria, all that stuff. I'm going to detail out what happens in the soils and under the earth and why we're having these problems and collapses and then where metals come from, specific gravities. But right now, what we need is to get some people on board. I'd like to have a worldwide book club. I have a friend, Paul Amatucci, who's doing these books, and they're very nice books. I mean, they're basically all he's doing is consolidating my research into a nice presentation. They're not bad. And he throws in a lot of stuff. I guess I got a lot of research. But Velikovsky, this was a book I wrote about Velikovsky. I think he pretty much just used that book, which is fine. I'm happy with all this. I don't care about making any money on this. It's not my point whatsoever. This is about mud fossils and the geology of the earth. I'm showing you. This is geology of the earth. This is not a joke. This is no joke. The mud fossils, they were giants, and the earth was slammed just exactly, I believe, as Velikovsky claimed, by Venus when it erupted from Jupiter. Now, take me as an idiot, a crazy person, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I am just going to take the people that have an interest in learning and discussing, debating. You could talk to me and say, no, Roger, that can't be true. I say, well, why? Tell me why. Tell me what I'm wrong. What did I do wrong? And then we can discuss that. But I can't discuss it by somebody saying you're an idiot. I don't want to talk to you. That doesn't work. I had a person get a hold of me the other day and say, you got to get this stuff out during the summer so the kids go back to school. They can ask their teachers about it. That may not go well, but that's, if you're interested in it, that's a goose. You see the feathers in his back of his head? This is Caesar. Caesar Augustus. He died laying just like that. With almost everything I have was, well, basically everything I have here was from the flood, and it turned into stone. After they dried out, they turned to stone. And this side was just flat. You can see where his neck came up. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. Here's his feathers. Caesar Augustus. Now, I am going to try to get this out for the summer. We're going to be good. School's in for the summer, my good friends. You want to learn? Let's learn. And then go back and ask him, say, what, is this guy crazy? That's the way you want to present this. Say, this guy's crazy. Did you see what he's saying? And then let's see what they have to say. You don't have to commit to anything. But to be afraid, literally afraid, to discuss this with your professors, that's just, it's hard for me to believe I have met with this kind of resistance. This is 10 years, more than that. But I found a lot of new things. I discovered all kinds of things, and which I think this is what was meant to be. Is, you know, I've rationalized the resistance by saying that you can't get anywhere if everybody just agree with you. And that's what they want. They want everybody to agree with them. You're never going to get anywhere. Education now got a little bit of an issue as far as I'm concerned. All right, watch this. I come up to look to try to get some information, and I can see all these things about sinkholes all over the earth. All of mine are gone, 100% gone. There's not one of mine up here, except the last thing I did was with Michael Tellinger a couple of months ago, and his is up on there, and so is mine, but that's all, that's it. All right, there's his channel, when I was talking with him about mudfossils, and I put it up. He's a nice, engaging guy. We had a nice time. He's good to talk to, but he's real busy, and he's a humanitarian. He's doing really good work. And, you know, he's the same pushback as everybody. And I said to do the research, and Michael and I do, people like us, you got to have a tough skin, man, my friend. Nothing about my mudfossil, about my sinkholes. I'm the only one that understands them. What's the causes? Like I said, that Japanese guy, he says, you better talk to the Russians. You know more about it than I do, and I do. There's not one of mine. And I put my name in, Roger Spur, Sinkholes, I guess I put my name in all the tags, just in case somebody wants to search by my name. But 99% of my stuff is not here anymore. I don't know what happened. You know, I've always sort of suspected something crazy's going on, because I put all these videos up, and I got 182,000 subscribers, and you know, people seem to like it a lot, and but I only get like 1.5 thousand hits, 1.8, 5,000, 6,000. That 6,000 is pretty high. Wow, 7,000 out of 182,000 people that are subscribed. And are they getting alerts? I don't know. I have no idea. But I always thought, boy, that's awful low, because I see all these other ones, they only got like 50, 60,000 subscribers. They get 300,000 hits in a week or a couple of days. I've never had one get that high in my whole lifetime. So what's going on? Je ne sais pas. That's a little French for who knows. You see, this is why they don't like to talk to me. There's not much I agree with. I can tell you what, that is biology. If you hadn't seen what I showed you, I don't know how to help you. If you can't open your mind to say, oh, this can't be this, or, you know, that's fine. I have no problem with that, but just keep looking. Don't just back off and say it's got to be crazy because I can't look. And don't forget, that right there, that layer, that red layer, is the interstitial layer, which is the same layer that they found in the newly found organ, which is right there. Meet your interstitium, a newly found organ. All right, so we got to go back to school. And if you just accept what you're being told, you're just there passing time. At this time, until you can confront your teachers and say, can you explain this to me? That's all I'm asking. You got to be so diplomatic. I don't know how you're ever going to do it. I got to be perfectly honest with you. That is a dangerous mission. Believe me, I've been down that road a lot. All right. Anyway, I love you all. I love you all. I do what I can to help. I don't know if it'll help or not. Ignorance is bliss. That's what I've been told, and I see a lot of people very happy.